बच्चों, I hope you all are doing fine. So let's start the chapter Latitudes and Longitudes. बच्चों, in last chapter you have read about your planet Earth, right? So you have read about different directions, you have read about poles. So now in this chapter you are going to read more about that planet, its axis, its poles. So let's start the chapter. We already know that the axis of the Earth is an imaginary line passing through its center. The Earth constantly rotates on its axis. The two ends of the axis of the Earth are called the poles. The point in the Earth is the North Pole and the point in the South is the South Pole. Right बच्चों? So make a list. एक अपना टेबल बना लीजिए जिसमें आप मेंशन कीजिए विच पोल इज नॉर्थ पोल, विच पोल इज साउथ पोल. ओके, मेक अ लिस्ट बच्चों सो दैट यू कैन हाँ जी रिवाइज. रिवाइज हो जाएगा ना आपको ऐसे. वेरी गुड. सो हैव अ लुक ऑन फैक्ट कॉर्नर. द फर्स्ट पर्सन टू रीच द नॉर्थ पोल वाज रॉबर्ट एडविन Peary of the United States of America. He reached the North Pole on 6th April 1909. Okay, when we look at the globe, we see a number of lines on it. These lines are imaginary lines. They are of two kinds, latitudes and longitudes, as you have read the title of the chapter. By drawing such lines on globes, it becomes simple to locate a place. Remember that these lines that are drawn on maps and globes are real lines, but we call them imaginary lines because they do not actually exist on the surface of the earth. अर्थ के सरफेस पे जो अर्थ है उस पे है नहीं, बट हम इमेजिन करते हैं. So these are called imaginary lines. Parallels of latitudes. Many circular lines can be seen on the globe, and the full circles which run from east to west and the parallel to one another are called the parallels of latitudes. Equator is the largest parallel and their size decreases as one moves away from the equator towards the poles. Latitude is an angular distance of a place from the equator lying either in the north or in the south direction. The equator is marked as 0 degree. It divides the earth into two equal parts. Okay, the another part is known as the northern hemisphere and the southern half is called the southern hemisphere. The other latitudes are numbered from 0 to 90 degree in both the hemispheres. The North Pole is marked as 90 degree N, which is called north, and the South Pole is called 90 degree south. There are some important parallels. These are marked and named as given ahead. Okay, let's read about. Before that we will read the fact corner. Let's have a look. The word latitude originates from the Latin word latus. Latus word which means wide. Okay, the word meridian originates from the Latin word meridis, which means midday. Midday is basically word meridian. It is from the word meridian that we get words such as antemeridium, meaning before noon, and postmeridium, meaning afternoon. Let's have a look on important features of parallels. All parallels are complete circles except for the North Pole and the South Pole. These are points, right? The length of the parallels decreases as we move away from the equator and towards the poles. जैसे आप move करोगे क्या decrease हो जाएगी? Length. All parallels are located to an equal distance from each other. Parallels neither touch nor cross one another. ना ही टच करते हैं और ना ही क्रॉस कर सकते हैं एक दूसरे को. सो नाउ मेरिडियंस ऑफ लॉन्गिट्यूड्स. द अदर सेट ऑफ लाइन्स आर द सेमी सर्कल्स. दीज लाइन्स ज्वाइन एट द नॉर्थ एंड द साउथ पोल्स. देयर आर 360 degree meridians. They have an equal length. The meridian passing through Greenwich near London in UK is marked as 0 degree. This is called the prime meridian. Area lying to the east of this meridian is called the eastern hemisphere, while the area lying to the west is called the western hemisphere. Right, bachcho. Meridians are drawn at an interval of 1 degree on both sides of the prime meridian, and the meridians which are towards the east of prime meridian are marked as degrees, and those on the west are marked as degree west. For example, the meridian of Jaipur is 75 degree east. Okay, so what will be the important features of meridians? All meridians are the same length, कोई इनमें छोटा बड़ा नहीं होता है. The maximum distance between any two meridians is at the equator. The distance between any two meridians decreases as we move away from the equator towards the poles, as we already have discussed. Meridians cut the parallels at right angles. 90 degree के angles पे cut करते हैं बच्चों. Meridians are used to measure distances in the east-west direction. Now let's have a look on locating places, that how we can locate places in a globe. Right? These parallels and meridians help us in locating places on the globe. The knowledge of either them is not enough. We must know both of them for finding the exact location of a place. ठीक है, दोनों के बारे में ज्ञान होना बहुत जरूरी है. The parallels and meridians cross each other and form a network. This is called grid, and grid can also help us in locating places. The point at which the parallel and the meridian cross each other denotes the location of the place. So now let's have a look on booster points. The axis of the globe on which it rotates has 2 points. These points are called poles. The point at the top is called North Pole, and the point at the bottom is called the South Pole. A set of circles and semicircles can be drawn on the surface of the globe. The semicircle joining the North Pole and the South Pole are called meridians of longitudes. The circles which run from east to west and the parallel to one another are called the parallels of latitudes. The parallels and meridians cross each other and form a network called grid. So bachcho, I hope you have understood the chapter, or you have got the knowledge about our earth and globe, right? So what you have to do now, you have to practice through exercises and have fun.